Damn. What's up, good people? Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. Hope everybody's had a great hump day. It's all downhill from here. Um, next week, a week from now, we'll be talking about the first practice. I'm ready. I am so freaking ready. Today, again, of course, there's always something going on with the Cowboys. We had this morning, shout out to Charles Haley and an interview with him where he spoke truth to power about the problem with the Dallas Cowboys. That Jerry Jones has backloaded some contracts, and basically, he didn't put this in there, but you have to look at some of the contracts that they've done that have been ridiculous, and the way they've had to make up for them is basically borrowing money from the contracts, restructuring. This is the first year that the Cowboys didn't go hog wild in restructure. They restructured Dak for $4 million, and I think that's basically about, wait a minute, what other one did they do? I think there may have been a little bit somewhere else, but typically the Cowboys were doing Zeke Elliott's, Dak's, Zach Martin, D-Laws, over and over and over again, which basically just kicks the can down the road. And this is the problem of the reason why Dak Prescott's contract is $55 million this year is because basically the first year it was $17 million. The next year was $19 million. The next year was $26 million. And they kept taking money off of it, and eventually it comes due. But unfortunately for the Cowboys, the other issue is they keep waiting and waiting and waiting to make moves. I still am mystified as to why they haven't been aggressive to try and get any of these deals done. Now, I know a lot of y'all say, well, Dak is just a garbage-ass quarterback and stuff who chokes in the playoffs. Well, as I look at guys like Justin Herbert, as I look at guys like Trevor Lawrence, where both of these guys have only been in the playoffs once in their career, and you can't honestly say that they had incredible playoff games. When I look around the NFL and understand that there's maybe two quarterbacks that actually have a winning record when it comes to the playoffs, you got to at least get to the playoffs before you can make any noise. And Dak Prescott gets the team to the playoffs on regularity. Guys, it's crazy because listening to Philly 500 and, Dak is just a joker. Dak is a joker. Because we were going through and we did an exercise of who's under more pressure. Dak Prescott or Jalen Hurts. And I look at this and I say, when I think about the Cowboys and what they've done thus far this offseason, when I look at it and say, CeeDee Lamb, your best wide receiver, is holding out for no other reason than the Joneses are just taking their own sweet time to get it done. And they're making it harder on themselves to succeed. And the longer it goes, the more time is wasted, the more they're harming the team. You just are. And every single time they have done this, with D-Law, with Zeke Elliott, not so much with Zach Martin, it's hurt the team. Winning the NFL is hard enough without your front office making things harder. And this is what drives you crazy as a Cowboy fan. But if I look at the Cowboys and I say, we got two rookies that are going to be starting on my offensive line. My number one receiver is at the moment holding out. My number two is an aging veteran. My number three could be a guy who's never started before, or a guy who's had limited snaps in his 2 years of being in the NFL. You've got an up and coming tight end. You've got an old running back. And a team that didn't do anything to help him. So if you're actually looking at this honestly, I look and I say, the team has set him up to fail. They haven't done anything and put anything in place to say make anything any better than it was to end the season last year. When I look at the Eagles, who already had a really good offensive line, true, they lose Kelsey. That's a big loss in the middle. They believe they have a veteran who's going to be able to take over for them. That may be true. You got two really good receivers that are both now paid. You go out, you get a dynamic running back to go in the backfield. You have a good tight end. So when I look at it and I see the Eagles are constantly trying to aid Jalen Hurts and give him everything. When you look at the offense for the Eagles, you have to say that is a more complete offense than what Dak Prescott has to work with. And so I don't know how you can look at it and say Jalen Hurts, who had everything there and literally went off a cliff after week 11, or after week 10, I should say. How can you look at that and say, well, Dak Prescott is a joker? And not say that Jalen Hurts choked last year. It doesn't matter because people aren't going to change their minds. So we have that. Dan Salio is friends with a lot of people in Dallas, including Michael Irvin and Stephen Jones. And he says that the Cowboys have been kicking around the idea of trying to make a move for T. Higgins. And have made some calls. Now again, don't shoot the messenger. That's the message that I got from Dan. And it actually could make sense for both teams. Now, Cowboys at the moment don't have enough money to take on that franchise tag because he is franchise tag. The Bengals, when they franchise tagged a guy, they've never brought him back. They may look and say, we can get some compensation and get rid of that salary. Now, if it's me, oh my God, I would take my second round pick and say, hey, listen, you got my second round pick. I'd be more than happy to part with my second round pick because second round picks for us, we've had about a 20% success rate. If I could get a second round pick and get T. Higgins and take on this franchise tag number, I'm doing it, y'all. I'm just doing it. And if you did that, well, I'll honestly say that and to get a defensive lineman, I'll say that there's no excuse for the Cowboys not to go far. But we'll have to wait and see. The other thing we've heard is some rumors that the Cowboys may be bringing in Michael Thomas and Justin Simmons possibly on Friday for some workouts. So we'll find out if that's true or not in the next couple of days. But either way, next week, Cowboys will be in Oxnard at training camp. And we know that the Cowboys like to get deals done at training camp. And they do like to bring in some aging veterans. With that being said, because you've seen how many times I've yawned here, I'm tired, boss. I'm real tired. And I gotta get my ass up early tomorrow. There's always so much to do, so much to do. Remember, good people, always tell people you love how much you love them. Life is short and life is precious. And you want people to know how you feel about it. I love you guys. And God willing, I'll see you tomorrow morning. Peace and chicken grease.